throw the ball harder, Kasali.
Are you sure? I don't want to hurt you, huh?
You won't hurt me. Just pass it properly.
Girls, they want to become equal. Like you can just put the ball properly, but then the next thing is you hear somebody crying and screaming all for nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Here, catch.
Hey, wait. Okay, sorry.
Yeesh. The boss done nothing to you, huh?
What did you say about girls?
No, it's not even funny. You know, this is becoming boring, guys. When is Phoebe coming?
Wait. What was that?
I think it was an earthquake.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi there. Welcome to our new learning series for grade 10 students in geography from NAMCO.
In Program 1 today, we will discuss earthquakes. Our learning objectives for you are that by the end of this video lesson, you should be able to understand the relation between plate movements and earthquakes, identify the global distribution of earthquakes on a world map, and thirdly, identify the causes of earthquakes and determine their impact on people.
Thanks for watching and enjoy the lesson with us.
Everything was shaking.
Phoebe,
What's up, Kumbadu?
are you okay? Didn't you feel the earthquake?
I felt it, but you guys look like you've seen a ghost. Come sit, let me explain to you what an earthquake really is.
Okay.
Phoebe, look. That was a real earthquake. Like it was real.
I'm not saying it was not real, Vino. I'm just saying, earthquakes have different severities, and this one wasn't that severe.
Well, according to what we learned in class, right? An earthquake is when the ground shakes violently because the earth's crust is suddenly moved, eh?
Yes, that is true, Kasali. The place where earthquakes occur, which is called earthquake foci, is usually found along plate boundaries deep underneath the surface.
But why is it they're not so violent with us?
You see, shock waves get weaker the further you move away from the epicenter.
Yeah.
And that is where the most damage is done, at the epicenter.
But tell me something. Then how strong will this be on a Richter scale?
Bro, it's not a Richter scale, it's a Richter scale.
A Richter scale is not an instrument, but it is a scale that ranges from 0 to 10. Okay? A seismograph is the one that is the instrument, and it records the force and the direction of an earthquake. Now, if you would put this record on a graph paper, then it becomes a seismogram. I think I have it on my phone. Let me search for it.
I actually have a friend that lives in Indonesia, and they're having it very hard there. Oh, why is that?
It could be that Indonesia is situated on or near a plate boundary. Yeah, here it is now.
So tell me, what happens inside the crust that causes an earthquake?
I read the other day that what happens is that when one of the plate moves alongside or beneath the other one, right? The rocks get locked into place. And what happens over many years, pressure starts to build up until the rocks can no longer manage that enormous pressure.
Yes, and because of this pressure, the rocks jerk freely and they cause sudden release of energy in the form of a shock wave. And these are called seismic waves.
Seismic waves?
Yes.
What do they do?
Well, what happens is that when these waves move from the Earth's crust towards the surface, they cause great damage.
Well, it seems like these waves are actually dangerous, eh?
Yeah.
The waves that pass through the focus of the crust are called P and S waves. Now, these waves are the ones that actually cause little damage, and they're the ones which are felt or detected first.
So these waves even have names?
Imagine.
Yes, these L waves move horizontally along the crust, and they even cause the most damage. But the further they are away from the epicenter, the less damage they do.
So now tell me, what happens in the aftershock that people are talking about?
Well, this is the last wave, Vino, and it can actually occur for days or even weeks after the earthquake has occurred.
Oh, guys, let's go to Papuji. I'm still shaking right now.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's keep moving.
It's killing me. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You know
Wow.
what, guys? What impacts do earthquakes have on people anyway?
Silvino, you think earthquakes are fun? Earthquake damage has short-term, immediate, and long-term effects on people.
No, but I was just asking. Come on. But tell me, what are these short-term effects anyway?
Short-term effects are things like buildings can collapse and trap, hurt, or kill people. Gas pipes in buildings can start to leak and cause fires. Electricity lines are destroyed and houses will be left without power. Bridges and roads are damaged or destroyed, preventing emergency services from reaching damaged areas. Telephone lines are destroyed and people cannot phone for help. Smoke from fires can cause breathing problems. Water pipes can burst, leaving people without drinking water or water to extinguish fires. Damaged water pipes can also cause flooding.
Long-term effects are things like shops are destroyed, leaving people without essential services. Decaying bodies under the rubble can cause the spread of diseases. Tsunami waves can cause more damage and loss of life than the earthquake itself. The economy can collapse in poor countries because they don't have the money to repair the damage.
You once mentioned something about tsunami. How do you link a tsunami to an earthquake?
Tsunami is actually a Japanese word, meaning harbor wave.
Yeah.
When an earthquake happens on the sea floor, the energy travels through the water causing waves.
To answer your question, Kumbado, tsunamis are enormous waves which are caused by undersea earthquakes. Now, the shock wave releases a huge amount of energy which travels through the water in the form of waves, and it can go to a speed of up to 800 kilometers per hour.
And you know, when these waves come close to coastal lines, the coastal waves get shallower, right? And the bottom of the wave slows down in speed. This in turn causes the top of the wave to rise up in height, sometimes up to 20 meters or even higher. At coastlines, right?
Yeah.
These monster waves topple over the break, causing enormous destruction and loss of life along the coastal areas.
But guys, I mean, if these earthquakes are so dangerous, I mean, how can somebody, plan and prepare for them?
I know. Earthquakes cannot be predicted, but people can take precautions to minimize the damages that earthquakes cause.
I once read about sensitive instruments that measure land movements and to check for pressure buildup.
Oh, okay. And unusual animal and fish behavior as well. Things like horses rearing, dogs howling, fish jumping, stuff like that. I hear these things warn people in China before the 1975 earthquake.
Yes, and plotting earthquake regularities can show a pattern.
And in big cities like San Francisco and Tokyo, right? New buildings are being built to withstand earthquakes, although to a certain degree.
Really?
Yeah.
I also once read that you should not build on clay, or should also not build on land that was reclaimed by ocean. Because during an earthquake it turns into mud, and also which can cause buildings to actually collapse and sink.
My uncle living in San Francisco also told me that during an earthquake, if you're inside a building, you should do the following. Like, you should stay where you are until the shaking stops.
Yeah.
And then he also said, you should actually, drop down to the ground, with your arms and your knees to prevent the earthquake from knocking you down.
Yeah.
Then he said you should also cover your head and your neck with your arms to prevent yourself from falling debris. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then he said, he also said that, you can hold on to something steady,
Yeah.
to prevent yourself from, moving with the shaking and everything. And you can also use it to move, You can move with it actually until the shaking stops.
By the way, you also have to have your first aid equipment nearby.
Yes, emergency stock such as food, water, blankets, and torches should be available.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
And guys, I'm also feeling so sorry for my friend that's living in Indonesia.
Why?
There was a time she told me that she wished she lived with us in Namibia because we don't actually have any earthquakes occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually have to tell her about the one that we experienced.
Oh yeah, today, right?
Yeah.
You should tell her.
Yeah.
You should tell her.
Definitely.
Viewers, let's summarize. Earthquakes occur along convergent and conservative plate boundaries. The focus is the exact spot deep inside the crust where the earthquake originates, and the epicenter is the area directly above the focus on the surface where the most damage occurs. The energy is released in the form of waves that travel through the crust. The P and S waves move through the crust and cause little damage. Earthquakes can cause lots of damage to buildings, roads, bridges, water pipes, electricity lines, etc. They can also kill people.
I hope you've enjoyed watching and learning with us today. And remember, although earthquakes hardly occur in Namibia, there have been reports of slight activity over the past few years. So it's always good to stay prepared and be informed. Thanks again for watching, and see you again soon. Goodbye.